There's been some hubbub among the kit manufacturers that where some believe that EAA is looking more toward a general aviation spectrum and less towards sport aviation and most particularly experimental amateur built. It's given rise to the establishment of Aircraft Kit Manufacturers Association, one of the most respected members of the kit building community and certainly one of the most prolific involved in that. Is EAB still one of the forefront concerns of EAA, and how does the guy out there building his Kit Fox or building his Glass Air or building his RV know that EAA is going to back him up in the future?
Well, first of all, EAB is the roots of our organization. When Paul founded the EAA, it was to promote aviation and flying and building and share that love of aviation and passion of aviation amongst a group of friends. And what Paul will tell you himself is that group of friends began to grow and grow and grow. So first of all, the EAB movement has always been at the heart of the organization and will always be. I think what a lot of folks have a hard time sometimes understanding is when you acknowledge members' wishes that say, hey, broaden your spectrum of coverage of aviation. Sometimes some groups will say, oh, I'm getting less. Well, in fact, maybe that's a misperception. We made a strategic decision to improve our magazine. So phase one, way back in January of 2010, was expand the feature well and expand the content capability of the magazine. It got bigger. Phase two was expand our coverage of general aviation. We did that in October of 2011. And the response from the membership has been overwhelmingly favorable. We have a tremendous amount of support and response from the members on the quality and the content of the magazine. Got it right. The EAB community says, well, the magazine got bigger. That magazine is now 88 pages big. Our content for EAB and amateur building is still the same and growing, not getting any smaller. The magazine got bigger, but our content's not getting smaller. So I think there's a lot of reaction to that. And I want to assure everybody in the EAB community it's absolutely front and center in our strategies at EAA. We spend a tremendous amount of our time in advocacy on behalf of the EAB movement. EAA is the organization that advocates on behalf of EAB. Not only is it fun, exciting, and innovative, but it gives you the ability and the freedom to fly the way you want to fly, whatever that may be.
There's also been some heartburn about the announcement and the brochure that's been circulated now ad infinitum on the Chalet project, and the fact that it ostensibly takes up a fair amount of the flight line areas where people used to either park their airplanes or watch the air shows and so forth and so on. You're being accused of catering to a higher dollar crowd than the rank and file that's coming in with their easy chair under their arm and so forth. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I think we're going to hear that for a long time. We've heard it for 60 years. You know, I have a little comfort in my counsel with Paul himself. Paul says, well, the first time I took money from a businessman is when I had my first complaint about being too commercial. I can assure you that it's not new news. But here's something I think a lot of members maybe don't always see or don't always appreciate, and that is we really do, this place is really for and about the member. It is all about promoting aviation. It's all about the world's largest aviation event. But more important than that, it's our membership convention. It's ours. But what it's done over the years is it's grown into this world's largest aviation event, world's largest air show, world's largest general aviation marketplace. So it has these dynamics that have taken shape over years. As the constituents that come here, all of the people that come here from around the world, they will tell you they all have unique needs. We spend a lot of time talking about the visitor experience at AirVenture. Boy, it's a big place. You know, we're spread out over 1,400 acres. It's kind of tough to move around this place sometimes. So what we are spending more time doing, especially in the last 18 months, is understanding that visitor experience. How do I make it better? And that visitor experience has a spectrum to it. It has everything from corporate giants of the names in aviation that we all know and love, all the way to the mom and pop businesses, which are so prevalent in aviation or any other niche segment. They all have a place here. They all have a place. So our philosophy of welcoming everybody says we need to provide services for everybody that want to come here and enjoy themselves. And that's what we try to do. Do we get it perfect every time? No, we're not going to get it perfect every time, but we're sure going to do our very, very best to strike that balance. One of the things that I have here is I have a space limitation. You know, as big as this place is, we're kind of running out of room. One of my favorite things to do is to take a look at each year's annual photograph from overhead. It is amazing. So if you lay those photographs, Jim, out over time and you look back in history, this site has evolved. Like it's an amazing thing. But when you look at the site, it's space constrained a little bit to a certain degree. So we're going to do our very best to strike the balance of making sure that we protect that legacy and honor the things that we've all loved and come used to, but also make room for everybody. That's the balance that we're trying to strike.
Aero-TV is brought to you by
Avidyne is the brand of choice for pilots who want innovative, easy-to-use avionics, and the new IFD 540 and 440 FMS GPS navcoms set a new standard for ease of use and simplicity. As plug-and-play replacements for legacy 530 and 430 series navigators, the hybrid touch user interface of the IFD 540 and IFD 440 makes it much easier to access the information you want while reducing head-down time, and making flying more enjoyable. Now you have a choice, and the choice is easy: Avidyne.